Hello folks and welcome to Tuneful Tuesdays, and we're going to be looking at a masterwork in this particular episode, issue, video, whatever it is. But before we get there, we need some trivia, don't we? Because, well, we do. It's all part of our musical nutrition. This one is a fairly simple question. Now, you normally hear about people going from rags to riches, as they say, from being a no one to a super megastar. Well, there was a guy in the 70s who did an about-face, and he went from megastar 70s celeb gold-trimmed fame, and he became a maths teacher. So, who was that guy? Who was a superstar, megastar 70s member of a, let's say, a collective? Let's use that term. And from that position, he became a maths teacher. Who was that guy? Answers at the end of the video. No Google, please. Don't cheat on this one, guys. Just have a little think. It's a bit of fun. And I will tell you at the end. See you then. Anyway, over to the video. And welcome to Tuneful Tuesdays, and welcome to Masterworks, and welcome to Donovan, because that's who we're talking about this time around. And I want to talk about Donovan because I discovered one or two LPs in my collection. They were pressed in the, I don't know, 2000 and something, 2008, 10, something like that, by Sundazed in the USA. And I received 3 LPs for review from that company, which I did. And I was lucky enough to keep hold of them, actually. And it's one of those LPs that I want to talk about now. I think the Sunday's edition was a mono repress, I think it was. Anyway, it was very nice. So that was the trigger for this particular one. Now, there are not too many music artists out there who are known by a single name. Donovan is one of them. Dylan is another one. That the former should be labelled as Britain's answer to the latter, well, I thought that was glib to the extreme, because Donovan, as far as I'm concerned, ploughed his own furrow, promoting the flower power optimism through a series of decorative songs, many hits, and a whole heap of albums. Mellow Yellow came at a very productive time for Donovan. In the year of its release, which was 1967, he also released Sunshine Superman, a gift from a flower to a garden, For Little Ones, and Where Your Love Like Heaven. Mellow Yellow took a wide range of influences as the basis for its content, far more than the Superman album, for example, as the album itself, Mellow Yellow, seemed to take more notice of what was going on around it, while Donovan himself also reached back into his recent past to merge his own favourite noises into this project. And he said, and I quote, "I wanted to relate. It seems to me that in the folk world, they were dead against popular music, but I felt that they needed all this music that was coming out of Bohemia. This was peace and brotherhood. It was important information." Dylan signed a deal with Columbia. He didn't sign a deal with a folk label. He saw the possibilities in appealing to a mass. Hence, you hear that cusp of change where Donovan moves from being a folk balladeer to a pop artist on this album. John Paul Jones of Led Zeppelin did the arrangement of that song, and he helped the song to become a hit. Tracks 2 and 3, which were Writer in the Sun and Sand and Foam, Well, they harked back to Donovan's folk roots. The latter was penned in Greece, while the former was written in Mexico. Both were penned while the artist was going through some legal problems that he thought might destroy his career, but thankfully didn't. The album ends with Sunny South Kensington, which is an upbeat number driven by glowing lyrics. Now, for the hit single Mellow Yellow, there were some rumours that Paul McCartney sang on this track, and according to Donovan himself, and I quote, "No, when Paul came into the studio, he was really just there for the claps and good cheer. You can hear him saying Mellow Yellow, but he didn't really do any proper backing vocals." Now, Mellow Yellow was significant because it was part of Donovan's spiritual awakening and his move towards meditation and his meeting with the infamous Maharishi. And he said, and I'll give you another quote, "Maharishi was on tour of the world at the time, introducing his newly developed technique, which was a simplified form given to him by his teacher, Guru Dev. Pattie Boyd and George Harrison had been to India the year previously. He was there to study the sitar with Ravi Shankar. And while he was in India, the Shankar women put Pattie Boyd in a sari and took her out and about. And one of the things they took her to was a lecture by a new yogi on the scene called the Maharishi. But when Boyd saw in the press that the Maharishi was coming to Wales, she said to George, "Hey, the teacher is coming to Wales, why don't we go down?" And then George called up Donovan and said, "Hey, we found the guy, he's got the meditation, he's got the mantra." So Donovan met with the Maharishi on the West Coast when he came over to Wales. And for Donovan, well, his music is more significant than you might think. Thousands of people have said over the years that my poetry and music have helped them. I would like to be remembered as a living poet who now can be listened to. Even beyond my death, the music will go on. But in a more frivolous mood, I would say on my headstone, he played between the notes. Powerful and highly skilled musicians are known for their music, not because of the notes they play, but for the spaces they leave in between the notes." And Donovan finished with, "The whole story of the donut is actually the whole." And that's it, folks. Thank you for watching the video. Before we go, though, you need an answer to a trivia question, don't you? And the trivia question was this. There was a very famous chap in the 70s, belonged to a world-renowned group. And he left, and he became a maths teacher. Who was that guy? It was Art Garfunkel. In 1972, Garfunkel got married, moved to Connecticut, and began teaching mathematics, the subject he had studied at university at the Litchfield Preparatory School. So now you know. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking to the end of this video, and thank you very much for your support. And if you can, down below, click on the subscribe and the like button. I'll be chuffed to bits. And if you want to check the description below, there are some live links, some chapter headings if you want to navigate around this video. Have a look at my Patreon page. There's some exclusive stuff over there you won't find here. Similarly, there is some exclusive stuff on my website if you want to click on that link that you won't find here. So YouTube isn't everything. There's lots of other stuff elsewhere. Also, what else is there? Social media links. I've got lots of those down there. You'll find me hither and thither. And the weekend, I'm going to be giving you something hi-fi flavored in video terms. So I hope to see you then, folks. Until that time, that's what I was saying. I think it was. Until that time, bye-bye for now.